Have you ever felt tired of starting over? Tired of failing at the same thing? Tired of promising yourself, this time I'll change, only to fall again? Maybe you tried to get closer to God? Maybe you tried to stop a bad habit. Maybe you tried to forgive, to heal, to believe again. But somehow, you fell. And sometimes the hardest part is not the fall itself. It's the voice in your head saying, look at you again. You'll never change. Why even try? But listen carefully. The Bible never says that righteous people never fall. It says they rise again. Proverbs 24:16 says, though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Not once, not twice. 7 times. In the Bible, 7 often represents completeness, meaning even if you fall again and again and again, God's grace is still reaching for you. Think about a baby learning to walk. No baby stands up perfectly the first day. They fall hundreds of times, but nobody looks at the child and says, wow, what a failure. Why? Because falling is part of learning. And sometimes spiritually we forget that. We think one mistake cancels our future. One sin cancels our purpose. One failure cancels God's love. But God is not shocked by your struggle. He sees your battle, and he still calls you forward. Look at Peter. Peter loved Jesus deeply. Yet during Jesus' darkest moment, Peter denied him 3 times. 3 times. Imagine the guilt. Imagine the shame. Peter probably thought, I failed God completely. But Jesus didn't abandon Peter after the fall. He restored him, because God is not only the God of perfect moments, he is also the God of second chances. And maybe someone watching this needs to hear this today. Your fall is not your identity. You are not defined by your worst day. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are not defined by how many times you failed. What defines you is whether you keep getting up, because the enemy wants you to stay on the ground. Discouragement is one of his greatest weapons. He whispers, you failed again. But God says, stand up again. He says, you're too weak. But God says, my strength is made perfect in weakness. And here's something powerful. Sometimes the strongest people are not the ones who never fall, but the ones who refuse to quit. If this message is touching your heart so far, comment, I will get back up. And remember this, a person who keeps getting up with God can never truly be defeated. Now let's be real for a moment. Getting back up is not easy. Sometimes life hits hard. You pray and still struggle. You try and still fail. You trust people and get hurt. You work hard and things still collapse. And after enough pain, people begin to believe a dangerous lie. What's the point of trying again? But that is exactly where faith begins. Faith is not pretending you never fell. Faith is standing up while your knees are still shaking. Look at King David. David defeated giants, but later fell into serious sin. Yet what made David special was not perfection. It was repentance. He kept returning to God. A heart that runs back to God is powerful. Sometimes people think Christianity is about never making mistakes. No. Christianity is about transformation. It's about continuing the journey even after failure. Imagine a runner in a race. If they trip and stay on the ground, the race is over. But if they get up, even wounded, they can still finish. And some of you listening right now are in that exact moment. You're hurt, tired, ashamed, maybe even spiritually exhausted. But this message is your reminder. Get back up. Cry if you need to. Pray if you need to. Rest if you need to. But don't stay down. Micah 7:8 says, though I have fallen, I will rise. That verse is powerful because it doesn't deny the fall. It declares the comeback. And sometimes God uses the very place where you failed to teach you humility, compassion, wisdom, and dependence on him. Some of the strongest testimonies come from people who almost gave up. So if you're struggling right now, keep going. If you failed, if you're healing. Because every time you stand back up, you become stronger than before. And one day you'll look back and realize, the fall did not destroy you. It taught you how to rise. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Sight Kids and Niños con Vision.